That's weird. The color on my screen is different than the recording. It's more purple. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I don't know. This is freaking me out. I always have problems with this specific game. I don't know what it is. Look at Watson. Alright, let's see. Let's go over here.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid.
What's the point of being able to switch these plants? Doesn't matter what place it's in.
This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid.
I have a feeling. Let me see.
Toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary. The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
Continue the investigation. What is this? To prepare the deadly plants, a plant combination had to be placed close by the victim and triggered at the precise. Go with that. See, I could end the case right now, but they still have me investigating. What is this? Left the plants at Kew Gardens and ordered some murder done at a later date. Someone stole the deadly plants before the Divine Syndicate were able to. I don't know. Who would steal them though, other than the Divine Syndicate? I'm gonna go with this. Is it gonna connect? Nope. Nothing? Nope. Let's go back to Kew Gardens. Oh! See, the color is still off on my screen. It just happened. I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything. Let me talk to him.
Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The Divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this syndicate.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Alright, so Albert should still be over here. The door opens.
Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious? Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. These Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh my God.
Tell me, have you ever heard of the Divine Syndicate?
No, I cannot say that I have.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Alright, so let me run all the way over here to go talk to that girl. Is she this way?
Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house. I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Oh, certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
The Divine Syndicate. Does that name mean anything to you, by any chance?
Not at all. But it is a very pretty name.
Thank you, miss.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
Alright, so let me get over here. Wait, I gotta go. Let me go. Hold on. Go this way. So that's one. Oh, that's it. I thought that was more. Alright, let's see.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system.
I was wondering when we could do that, so let's head to the ventilation. Which way is it? It's this way. This way.
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
The power is on. The engine cannot be started whilst the transmission is active. The engine has started.
Now what?
The ventilation system is working.
Alright, go, 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 go. Wait, why is it stop right here? Is it just... Yeah, why does it just stop right there? Hold on. Wait, let me go over here. Where did she go?
Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one.
Go this way? There, I see it.
Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
So Hamish Let's see, what do we got? The plant simulation caused by the caterpillar fall could be performed only from Martin's workplace, the one location where it would be possible to see done in the colonial Rome. Martin Hamish had the opportunity to simulate the deadly plants in the colonial collection room. As a biologist, he would have understood the technicality of how to do this. Okay, so does anything connect? So it wasn't the syndicate. Okay. What's this? What? Now. Martin Hamish could be the killer. He had the opportunity to steal the Divine Syndicate's plants and stimulate them from his workplace, directly after he had locked Dunn inside the colonial collection room. Okay. What's this? Affect the arrest. Alright. Arrest Martin. There should be like a bigger... Alright, you know what, go back.
Let's go to Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard. Well, he's already arrested? I'm not going the right way. No, well, he's not right there. We were gonna arrest him ourselves, but whatever. Scotland Yard it is. But this game still has like a purple green hue to it for some reason. It happened all of a sudden. I'm trying to see if I could put it in the video so I could show you guys, but it's showing fine on my computer, but on the TV for some reason it's acting weird. Maybe if I started it over, but I don't feel like it. Why is it locked? Why can't I go in there? What the hell am I supposed to? Contact with... Oh. And how do I contact him? Right here?
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you. Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
He said like, what, this one? Open the...
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
Wow. What was I trying to say? The artwork that the game releases, I usually use those for the thumbnail, like with this game and Red Dead. Oh, here it is. And there was one little picture that I was planning on using, and it has like a hanging body in the background, but you can't really tell who it is, and now I understand. I didn't know he was gonna do this. I'm surprised, but...
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
Life has become a living hell. I find it unbearable. Don deserved to die, but I cannot forgive myself for having his blood upon my hands. We Hamishes seem to have always fallen victim to our circumstance, and I find myself to be no exception. I must atone, and I shall do so, here and now. Farewell. Anything else?
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case.
Club foot. A worn down double heel on his left shoe reveals that Martin Hamish suffered from a club foot. Okay, but... I wasn't able to run due to his club foot. Therefore, we shall find out if he has sufficient time to lock the door and activate the ventilation system. Did he have an accomplice? See, I'm glad I didn't just decide the end decision for this case without investigating. This is getting really interesting. Possible impact of nuclear spell on the body. Gotta go to Lestrade. Alright. He was right here. When did I pass him? Oh, he was right there.
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Let us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
Okay. What is this? I kind of don't remember what they... Alright, went to meet Albert at around 9:30. Wait, where do I put it? Is it in this one? Oh, that too, whatever. I was around 20 minutes to 10 when Hamish and Dunn went out to the backyard. After 10 minutes, Dunn recommends his inspection and entered the dry tropics room. Hamish returned to the seed house. What was this? 20 minutes to 10. Went out to the backyard. Oh, under which name do I put it under though? Oh, I see the colors. Okay, never mind. And this is... what is this? Into the dry tropics room. So... and this one... return to the seed house. At the same time. Yeah. Hamish had a conversation with Miss White. This one. At 10 o'clock. Miss White was in the laboratory until 10:40. So 10:40 when she saw Hamish and Albert in the water lily greenhouse and joined them there. 10:40. So right here. Hamish ran to Albert as soon as he observed that Dunn was unwell, which was at around 10:30. I'm so glad they are making us do this because I kind of don't remember what they said when they were talking to Holmes. Wait, what was it? 10:30? Right there. Albert was in the seed house in the entire morning. Returning past 10. Hamish, alright, that's it.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door, more than enough time. Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
I always had a feeling it was, the girl had some involvement. Miss White. What is this? Was alone in the sea house after Dunn had entered the large glass house. Dunn showed signs of poisoning at 10:20. Okay. I'm gonna go with... no? Really? Wait, oh shit, wrong thing. Hamish and Albert are not accomplices. It is unlikely that Albert would have had the opportunity, and 10 minutes would have not been enough to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Albert was Martin Hamish's accomplice. 10 minutes would have been enough for him to follow. Really? What about the girl? She had 20 minutes. Or did I hear that wrong? I don't... go back. See, act without being observed. Would have been enough to trap. She could have... for now. Oh shit. White is an accomplice. Margaret White was Martin Hamish's accomplice in killing Dunn. Her professional ambition and personal situation had been damaged by the breakup with Dunn. The dangerous woman, very capable of carrying out an elaborate murder for monetary gain. She flirted with Dunn's son Albert and later pushed Hamish to a suicide. She deserves the rope. A desperate woman in debt resigned to a consortium with wealthy gentlemen. Dunn cast her aside. She killed him in desperation. Tried to save her. She deserved a second chance. Shit. If I remember correctly, the letter that her parents sent her, it made it seem like she was kind of a bitch, so I'm gonna go with X.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication. After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining, the deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her, quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me. But she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right. You can count on me, Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over? Perhaps. One moment you were here, and the next, you were on the other side.
The other side? No! Stop! I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Well done, Watson. She was not faking.
Miss White, you have no right to take your own life.
Dr. Watson? Did you just save me? Or worse?
Alright. We are done with another case. With that being said, I'll see you in our final mission. See you later.